G'day, my friends. Marty, we're here from Marty's Garden. Look, have I got an amazing story for you today? This is unfolding. This is truth, and I've got to bring it to you. Now, a friend of mine, Phil Cleaver, who is a follower, and we spoke on the phone recently, ex-CSIRO, multi-degreed, worked all over Australia in the ag industry and other departments, such as banking and finance. And this guy, he's got a wealth of knowledge, and he's helped me actually with this new discovery today that I want to share with you all, because I was talking about eggs in a recent video to do with the food crisis stuff, right? And I mentioned about it briefly, how there's just less eggs on the shelf at the moment, and there's all this new legislation and things going on that's just slowing up the process and raising prices of our eggs. And I didn't really have any full proof. So what I want to do today is I want to show you so you can forward think about what you would like to do and strategic moves you would like to put forward so you can keep money in your hip pocket and also stay healthy and happy at the same time. Look, the world's changing around us, and what we need to do is flow with it, but we don't need it to crash on down on us really fast like other events have. So I'm going to get to it, and I'm going to read this article out to you guys. Hopefully I can get it all flowing nice and smooth here. Just go into the article and everything comes out well in this recording. Now, this is from realcommercial.com.au. It says, egg industry pressures might boil over into industry consolidation. According to industry experts, egg farmers are facing massive price hikes for almost every input needed to raise hens and produce quality eggs, and the prices paid by supermarkets, manufacturers and hospitality remain at 1990 levels in some areas. Fears for the future of industry. Egg Farmers of Australia, which advocates for the Australian cage, free range and barn laid egg farmers, said in the last 12 months, the cost of young laying hens increased 20%. Fuel prices jumped 25%, and the cost of canola oil used as feed climbed 141% a tonne. The cost of feeding grain as well as packaging also increased significantly, and staff have also been hard to find. Chief Executive Officer Melinda Hashimoto said that 2022 farm gate prices for eggs in some areas remained at 1990 levels. It is a reality that Australians are going to have to get used to paying more if they want their eggs and other food grown in Australia, or they'll see Aussie farmers go out of business, she said. How is that? Food, look, you're going to have to pay more for your food and eggs. Like, that's heavy as far as I'm concerned. Like, I'm looking at that going, wow. So how much more are we going to have to pay? And what can we do about it? Well, look, guys, to be honest, I've been talking about it in my content. If you can look at ways of moving back into the old school ways, but futurize them, and, turn into these mini homesteaders. And, you're thinking you have this vision of a homesteader. Well, it's not so much you become a homesteader. You just need to learn these skills and these techniques and tricks. Let's keep going back to this article, because I want to share. There's so much more to reveal here. And it really shows that we are on the money with what I've been talking about. And it says, Ms. Hashimoto also said some farmers are also carrying huge debt as they prepare to transition from caged eggs and invest in free-range egg production systems, as required by new standards and guidelines designed to give chickens more room to roam and ultimately see battery eggs phased out. Just like I was talking about in that last video, it is coming. They're phasing it out. And this is going to raise the price of eggs, and it's also going to raise other stuff. Can you imagine? Chicken, one of our cheapest meats, could go up in price as well. Very highly likely. Floods on the East Coast, which destroyed feed crops, and impact of severe drought for the 2 years leading into the pandemic, which disrupted supply chains and dramatically reduced egg consumption for a time, and reduced output of free-range eggs affected by cold conditions this winter, also had an impact. Ms. Hashimoto said the speed of rising input costs is so alarming, some long-term egg farmers are genuinely fearing the future of the industry. So again, we're going back to what industry really under impact for rising costs. And also they mentioned in that article they're finding it hard to find staff. So this is only one industry that we're looking at. I'm getting comments talking about other industries that aren't related to agriculture where they're going through similar things. But here we're talking about farming, our food pockets, and what's going to happen and how do we really plan ahead. All right, let's keep going on with this article, guys, because this is really eye-opening. Consumers will have to pay more. That's the rest of the title here. Brian Ahmed, Victorian Farmers Federation Egg Group President, who runs a 30,000 bird farm in Werribee, west of Melbourne, producing 25,000 eggs a day, said farmers are struggling to cover the skyrocketing costs, whether they supply supermarkets or independent outlets. He said consumers will simply have to get used to paying more. See that? As he's saying it again, same as that other woman said. Consumers simply have to get used to paying more. The reality is it's costing us much more to produce eggs as the cost of everything is going up. Consumers will have to get used to paying between $6 or $7 for a dozen. We're paying a lot more than that at the supermarket for their local greengrocer. The days of $2 and 3 dozens are over. We see a massive decrease in costs, Ms. Ahmed said. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll back up here and then come back down to that title there. Now, this was written 31st of August, 2022. Now, I should have said that at the beginning. So what we're looking at is these people are talking about the future and what is coming. And we're definitely paying more than $7 or $8 for a dozen of eggs now. He said $2 or $3 right there. So, wow. Let's keep going. Now, remember, we've gone back 2 years, and I should have mentioned that at the beginning. So please forgive me for that. Don't hold on to me, but we're getting some good stuff here because we know we can see it unfolding, what they've been talking about. Small free-range farmers with a few thousand birds who previously sold a dozen eggs at the local farmers market for $7 or $8 now need to charge between $15 or $20 a dozen to cover their costs. As I say, it's gone up to $14 at the local butchers. And that starts getting out of reach for many people. That's putting a lot of pressure on those small guys and might make it unsustainable for them, he said. Then we go into the title, Growing Squeeze on Profitability. Associate Professor Flavio Macau, the Associate Dean of the School of Business and Law at Edith Cowan University, said the economic and environmental events that made 2022 difficult could spark a consolidation of egg-producing farms, many of which are currently family-run. Costs are going up, but income is not necessarily going up at the same speed. And then there is a squeeze on the profitability, he said. The average return on investment for a small farmer is about 4 to 6% a year, which is less than most super funds have had in the past 10 years. So think about that, guys. Why are people moving away from farming? Because there's just easier and better ways to make money. And this is the truth. And we need solutions. And I believe that, look, I'm not going to get political into this, but maybe you want to write to someone and get things rolling because, look, there needs to be answers for this and no one's coming up with them because I'm seeing eggshells empty and I'm seeing them getting very expensive. And as I said, this is 2 years old and they're talking about what's coming up in the future and all this is unfolding. So it says here, some of the business will just continue to operate because of tradition, because it's their life. And when you look at the next generation, they will start asking, why should I bother? Do it again. Why should I bother? Now, we need to look at this, guys, and just go, hey, how scary is that? Why should I bother? Really, like, we need to forward think and look at this. As I said, that article was produced in 2022. And now all this is unfolding around us. And not only the egg industry, but many other things. And say, like we talked about the average farmer age in Australia being 67. We had an article from Aaron who worked, another follower, who worked in the farms and saw the older farmers just, they were turning up for work every day, working so hard, working harder than the young guys, but then just passing away on site, not turning up, and they're off to their funeral. You know, this is actually happening. It's in the comments. People are, it's not only me that's seeing this, it's folding around us. And we get back to that part, why should I bother? Man, I'm telling you, it's freaky stuff, and we need to start coming together as a collective to look at ways we can get around this. Okay, and it says at the end of why should I bother, and it says with returns like that. And what you'll see is those small farmers will start moving out of the business because it's not profitable to the extent that they would expect, Associated Professor McCall said. Life, like has happened with other types of farms, such as the bigger egg farms will swallow up smaller ones and the land he owned, he said. And once the bigger farms take hold of that land, they will go to whatever is more profitable at that time. They will find that eggs are really profitable now. They'll go for eggs. But if in 2 years, they find it's a better way to raise sheep, they will go to sheep or whatever their calculations to show them as being more profitable in bigger business. Whoa. I'm going to leave a link down into here because I know that's a lot to take in. It's a ton of stuff to take in. It really is. So to break it down, what they're talking about is the cost of eggs going up, the cost of the production for the food is going up, cost of the land for going up, cost of fuel is going up. People are getting, between 4 to 6% return profitability, which is less than a lot of other things that you could work on or invest into. Honestly, I don't blame people for doing it. Some people they just go, hey, that's me, that's who I am, so I'll just keep doing it. It's not tradition. It's about, you become that person and you associate yourself with that. So I'm an egg farmer, I'm a chicken farmer, that's who I am. And when you leave that as a farmer, you've got no identity. You lose your identity. And I've been through that before a few times with changing my work and things like that. And a few times I've gone to walk away from Marty's garden and I thought, hey, people still need help, and I'm losing my identity for who I am and what I should be doing here. And I believe that it's a part of my journey to share content like this and also teach you how to grow fresh food at home, and recently to how to avoid these up and coming problems. All right, so I'd love to hear from you guys down below, anything that you've got. As I said, this is very different. I'm shooting from inside, horrible weather outside, but this needs to be brought out very soon. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, make some decisions, and start planning ahead before it unfolds around us. I'm not trying to scare anyone or anything like that, but if you plan ahead, then example would be you're thinking about getting chickens. Well, I would be doing, before you get the chickens, doing a lot of research and going, hey, we've got to have our own eggs. Maybe we'll have our own meat. How much space do we need? How much food do we need? Can we grow our own food to save money? If not, can we buy eggs in bulk? Can we go straight to the producer to buy eggs instead of off the supermarket shelf? What can we do to actually forward think and save money? And then once you've got those eggs, what do we do with them? How do we cook with them? Are we going to boil them and store them? Are we going to preserve them in any way? Are we just going to, how many eggs are we going to eat each day? Do those questions and figure out and work on some basic math and see if you want to work in it. I've got my own chickens. I love them, and I wasn't going to get more, but I may now because of what I know. But we've got enough for ourselves. But I'm thinking, maybe I need to help a few more people, and we can get some cheap eggs out there. But anyway, that's enough for now. More to come here on Marty's Garden channel as we dig in and we find these stories and also teach you how to grow. Hopefully we're going to have cooking stuff if all goes well, and harvest and all those type of things. We're really getting into this side of almost becoming an Australian prepper in some way. I never thought I'd ever say that, but it's coming down to that. Anyway, please, if you haven't already, give us a thumbs up for that. Let me know that you enjoyed this video. Leave a comments box down below. Get really involved and engage in it on the channel and other videos, and that will really help my message and the messages for people to get out there and start. I just want to serve you guys as well. So have a great day. Happy gardening. I just got to press the end record button here. Bye for now.